Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience for your love with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. No pain for their disease. Just like a weed.
March still seems to want to be a pain in the ass. And Mother Nature said, no, I'm not going to go with the warm weather just yet. No, motherfucker. You're going to have to deal with some cold weather in the beginning. So Mother Nature wants to be a bitch, but I am still as hot as I've ever been, and everyone should be made aware that it's Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest fucking show on earth, streaming live on 1, 2, 3, 4 different platforms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different accounts. I don't know why I did that, but regardless, you already get the picture, adding a little extra emphasis to that. And I got the fire of 1,000 suns running through me. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. Shit. Do you smell that? Do you know what that is? Oh, baby, I'm going to tell you what that is. That right there is the smell of pure fucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official lightning flash update for Saturday, March 11th, 2023. I almost said 2022. And we are getting set for what is to be one hell of a month, one hell of a weekend coming up towards the end of this month. We got plenty of material to dissect, plenty of material to go over. I hope that you guys have had a wonderful week, a very productive week as well. It's still cold here in New Jersey, so I guess fuck Mother Nature. But regardless, as I have already pointed out, DJ Storms is as hot as ever. And yes, Hula Brim, you can pretty much recite my intro via memory, because let me tell you something. There is absolutely fucking nobody, and I mean nobody, that has as good of an intro as I do. I am here and everyone else follows. I am just that damn fucking good. I am. I'm just that damn good. But anyway, I hope you guys are in for a treat. And I hope that you guys are ready for some news, some rumors, some reports. We're going to dissect some weekly shows. I see that we got a nice, solid crowd so far. We got Dylan in the chat. We got Hooligan, the final horse. Dee Dee is also in the chat. She is my number one mod. We got Paul, a.k.a. The Shooter. The Shooter. Mitchkovsky is in the chat, reminding everyone that I am the best in the motherfucking business. I am everywhere, and everybody else has to play catch up to me. Absolutely nobody can touch me. I am at the top of the mountain. I am the top of the line. We also got Philly Sports Talk Podcast. Shout out to them as well. And yes, Hooligan, I got my Kenny Omega Bullet Club t-shirt, because let me tell you something. When it comes to DJ Storms, I am just too fucking sweet. Anyway, we have a lot to dissect and we have a lot to get into. Before we get into what we need to get into, obviously some self-brand promotion and some advertisements. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you're following me on social media, whether it be on Twitter or Instagram. I have the same for both Twitter and Instagram. It is at HistoryMakerDJS. That is both on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, to follow me there. And, of course, add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. And if I am not mistaken, I do believe I also put the link towards Brittany K and her social media links. And that is what the show and the brand, the DJ Storms brand, is sponsored by. We are the hottest that we've ever been in the over 5 years, nearly 6 years that I've been doing this. And we are sponsored by Brittany K and her fantastic drawings, her fantastic designs. Brittany K is a very good friend of the channel, very good friend of the brand, very good friend of DJ Storms himself. And she does phenomenal drawings, phenomenal edits, phenomenal designs from scratch on an iPad. Very, very, very beautiful drawings, including Jay Briscoe and Brody Lee and John Moxley and the House of Black and Braun Strowman. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff indeed. So if you guys are interested in buying some of those designs and potentially getting yourselves a new Twitter Avi, a new Instagram Avi, maybe a new Twitter banner, all you need to do is go and follow her on social media. Her social media links are as follows. It is at Brittany K 5150 on Twitter and at Brittany K Designs on Instagram. So shout out to her. Both of those social media links are in the description. So if you guys are interested, please go and check her out immediately. You guys made last weekend one hell of a weekend. Of course, we had the rundown for Revolution with Lisa Marie. Shout out to her. And of course, the rewind for Revolution this past Monday. I was off of work on Monday. Thankfully, I had a nice shortened week at work today, and we are here set for the weekend. So thank you guys for making that weekend very, very memorable. Obviously, we got a big weekend coming up towards the end of the month. The rundown for Supercard of Honor, rundown for Stand and Deliver, rundown for WrestleMania, and then a dual rewind on Saturday. No LFU. It's a dual rewind, and then a separate rewind for WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night number 2 over the course of the week between March 26th and April 3rd. It is going to be one hell of a weekend, but it's also going to be one hell of a night tonight, because in Westwood, New Jersey tonight, there is ISPW Live. ISPW Live once again from Westwood, and I will be there. We got Tommy Dreamer coming to you guys to take on the King of Rock, Rick Recon. We also got ECW legend HC Loke taking on Michael Mars for the Tri-State Championship. Tina San Antonio is defending the Women's Championship against Layla Luciano. Interested to see what Layla Luciano brings to the table, as I have never seen her wrestle before. And Crowbar, one of the greatest of all time, Crowbar, will be fighting the Big Oos, known as Alpha Jr., formerly known as WWE superstar Manu. I remember watching Manu when I first got into professional wrestling, so seeing him do his thing in ISPW is a great thing, and I know that those two are going to absolutely tear the fucking house down tonight in Westwood. That's going to be in Westwood High School at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so if you guys are on the East Coast, come on out to Westwood. I will be there. I'll be handing out wristbands. I'll be doing vlogs. I'll be doing a vlog. I'll be recording the matches. So if you want to come out and say hi, please feel free to do so. Of course, be sure that you are liking the stream wherever you're watching it from, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok. Share it out on all those platforms. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that way you can help Hardcore Sports grow. We are on the road to 300 subscribers, as well as please hit the subscribe button for my channel. We are very, very close to 2,100 subscribers. 2,100. I was once at 2,100, but I kind of scaled back on it because I needed to take a break and I needed to reevaluate my priorities. So I did lose a couple subs during a point in time where I was not generating any content. But now I am back in the game, and we are on the road to 2,100 subs. So please go and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And, of course, hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. You know why? Because it's the only time that you won't get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache. I did touch it up a little this morning. It's not so scraggly. It's nice and pristine. Of course, Earl is not here. We'll see him a little bit later on, but we're going to light it up right here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and the Facebook group right here with this, this beautifully crafted, this beautifully crafted ace comb, crafted to fucking perfection. So we are going to light it up right here on the stream with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because just like a nice freshly made sandwich with fresh cut boar's head cold cuts. Boar's head is the best types of cold cuts to use. I know. I used to work at a supermarket where they had boar's head. And let me tell you something. There's little to no grease. It's nice and fresh. It tastes like it was just freshly made. I'm telling you. Boar's head, bologna, ham, and cheese. That is the way to go. That's what I had for lunch on a freshly made Italian roll as well. It was not stale. It was freshly fucking made. So let me tell you something. If you guys are into good sandwiches, please go check out the Boar's Head Cold Cuts. But just like those Boar's Head Cold Cuts, I am just so good. I'm the tastiest snack in the IWC. Everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Anyway, I think we are just about done with all of the self-brand promotions and the advertisements. Let us get straight into the news, rumors, and reports. PW Insider, they reported that FTR is believed to be locked into long-term deals with AEW. Their disappearance and tease of going elsewhere was just a storyline cover. Now, it is very, very important to note that apparently Dax did confirm on the FTR podcast, apparently they are indeed still set to have their contracts expire on April, I believe it was April 14th, April 15th, somewhere in the middle of April. And their contracts will be expiring. Now, for all we know, Dax could be playing us. For all we know, Dax could be completely fucking bullshitting us. And they're just merely doing that just to play up to what's going on for storyline purposes, potentially play up to the fact that they could go elsewhere. trying to make the storyline a little bit more interesting. That's my guess. But I really don't believe that Tony Khan would be bringing FTR back if he did not have an intention on keeping them around, or if they haven't already signed contracts. It would be foolish for Tony Khan to bring FTR back if they are not signed, sealed, and delivered, locked into new contracts. It's asinine. It's completely asinine for him to do that. So I do believe that there is some truth, and FTR is indeed signed to new AEW contracts. And as far as Dax and Cash go, the fact that they were brought out this past Wednesday and they cut a very good promo stating that they will be looking to take the tag team titles off of the Guns, that right there is a clear-cut indication that Tony Khan has pretty much virtually already signed, sealed, and delivered them to new deals. So I do believe that FTR is signed to new deals, and I do believe that FTR is going to be the team to take the titles off of the Guns. When, I don't know. I would personally wait till Double or Nothing for that. Wait for a big stage like Double or Nothing to give the titles to FTR, and then FTR is going to go on a very, very, very nice run going into the summer, going into the fall. I do not see FTR going elsewhere. Again, it would be foolish for Tony Khan to bring FTR out and return them at Revolution if they did not already sign a new deal with the company. That's just me. It was reported by Brian Alvarez behind his Twitter subscription that Kofi Kingston was injured, and they actually did make note of that on commentary last night on SmackDown. They did make note of that on commentary last night on SmackDown, that Kofi Kingston is indeed injured. He was injured in the brawl with LA Knight, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Karrion Kross last Friday on SmackDown. And the belief is that his injury was actually when Drew McIntyre did a tope con hero onto him and Xavier Woods and LA Knight alongside after Sheamus. I believe Sheamus kicked him out of the ring, and then Drew McIntyre did a tope con hero. He landed on all three of them, but I believe Kofi Kingston caught the worst of that. Now, the severity of the injury has not been revealed. The severity of the injury has not been revealed, so I cannot specify to you what exactly is going on. But regardless of that, Kofi Kingston is injured, and I don't really think that that is a negative towards Xavier Woods or the product in general. I wish him a speedy recovery, but in all honesty, Kofi Kingston really hasn't been all that much of a game changer. He hasn't really been an individual that's really going to make television better, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Kofi Kingston has not made television better. Kofi Kingston and the New Day have actually made television worse, if I'm going to be quite honest. The New Day is stale. The New Day is very, very boring. I really don't still see the need for New Day to remain around. Matter of fact, I've been saying that the New Day has actually been holding Xavier Woods back. New Day's been holding Woods back. Kofi's already had a Hall of Fame career. I don't know why Kofi is still doing what he's doing and still potentially fighting for championships. Even though he can still go, even though he's very, very good for his age, Kofi Kingston's had a Hall of Fame career. Kofi Kingston has had a Hall of Fame career. He should be helping others get over. He should be putting other people over rather than taking up championship spotlight from other individuals. I still don't understand why the New Day won the NXT Tag Team titles. They were just going to lose them 2 months later. Stupid. Very, 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 very stupid. So Xavier Woods, if Kofi is going to be out for a little bit, Xavier Woods being on his own, that is a great thing because Xavier Woods, to me, Xavier Woods has always been the best member of the New Day to me. Big E was the second best member. Kofi was always the weak link in the New Day. Big E had everything that you wanted in a good big man that was able to go out and get the job done on his own. But when it comes to a wrestling perspective, if you're looking at me and you're going to ask me, who's the best wrestler of the New Day? I'm going with Woods. I would honestly pick Xavier Woods as the best member of the New Day. So Kofi Kingston being injured and on the shelf for a little bit, this is not going to be a bad thing for Woods. Matter of fact, this is going to give Xavier Woods the opportunity to break out of that New Day shell. This is going to give Woods the opportunity to go out there and showcase to everyone what he can do on his own. Xavier Woods is a great professional wrestler. I would have loved to have seen Xavier Woods get a singles run in NXT for a little bit. I would have loved to have seen Xavier Woods potentially in the United States Championship title picture, potentially in the Intercontinental Championship title picture. So I wish Kofi a speedy recovery, I do. But at the end of the day, Xavier Woods being on his own, this is a breakout chance for Xavier Woods. The New Day gimmick is stale, and it has been stale for years. And the New Day gimmick is honestly holding Xavier Woods back. So I would love to see Xavier Woods on a solo run for just a little bit. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on there, but Kofi Kingston will be out for a little bit, and we will see what Kofi Kingston has in store when he does come back, although I don't really expect anything different. I expect much of the same. But as far as Xavier Woods goes, Xavier Woods, if he was to break out and do a singles run, I do believe that he has a very, very, very bright future. Dave Meltzer, he reported that NXT and the current direction of storylines on NXT, they are teasing splitting up a women's tag team. Dave Meltzer stated, and I quote, "Right now the plan is for Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley to break up as it has been teased on NXT." I don't know why. You have NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and you're breaking up one of the only tag teams there. You already broke up Toxic Attraction. You are going to break up Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. Who else is there? There's legitimately only one legit women's tag team. The only legit women's tag team down in NXT is Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They are the only legit women's tag team in NXT. They may be the only legit women's tag team in the entire WWE, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. They may be the only legit women's tag team in the entire WWE, period. So I ask, why exactly are you teasing breaking up yet another women's tag team when we have women's tag team titles on a team that aren't even really a tag team? They're only a tag team because they're both connected to Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. It's stupid. It's honest to God, it's stupid. You know what I would have done? I would have had Katana Chance and Kaden Carter move up to the main roster with the NXT women's tag team titles. I would have had them fight Damage Control, who would have not lost the titles to Becky Lynch and Lita. That right there was a Vince McMahon move right down to the very last letter. I would have had those two teams, Damage Control and Katana and Kaden, they would go at it at WrestleMania. They would put on a 15-minute great match, and we would unify the championships. Now, if it was up to me, I would take both sets of titles and toss them in the trash. There's no reason for women's tag team titles. There's no reason for a women's intercontinental title. No reason for it. The women's division in WWE, and to be quite honest with you, women's wrestling in general in 2023, nobody gives a shit about it. Even when people did care for it back in 2018, 2019, the majority of the wrestling audience really did not give a shit. Women's wrestling, it's just not a popular topic. Yes, it's a nice add-on to the wrestling show, but at the end of the day, look, I may be an advocate for women's wrestling, but women's wrestling caters to a niche audience. Women's wrestling caters to a niche audience of female wrestling fans and fucking social justice warrior people that are looking for all these equality agendas and all this other bullshit. It's not a popular topic. It's just not. Women's wrestling will never be a top draw in wrestling. And that's just me being completely honest with you. That opportunity is well behind us. That ship has sailed. So at the end of the day, the best route to go for women's wrestling, especially when it comes to WWE, is to just have two singles championships. The Raw and the SmackDown Women's Championship, and anyone can challenge for either of those championships. Anyone can float between both brands and challenge for the championships. And in NXT, there should only be the NXT Women's Championship, not the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. That is what we need. That is what we need. Anything else is overkill. Anything else, no one's going to give a shit about. Nobody. So the fact that they're teasing splitting up an NXT Women's Tag Team, that just goes to show you how fucking clueless they really are about women's tag team wrestling. Women's tag team wrestling, just like women's wrestling in general, it's dead. It's dead. Really is. I got a report about an NXT star that is leaving the company. Apparently, Tokyo Sports is reporting that Saray will be leaving WWE once her contract expires. Now, Saray had the potential to be something decent, but at the end of the day, she was just a part of the wrong place at the wrong time scenario. She really was. She came in just as Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard killed NXT. She came in just as they killed NXT, completely gutted that roster. They gutted the tag team division. They gutted the women's division. They just completely revamped NXT and they destroyed everything that made NXT great. Now, if Saray came in 2-3 years earlier, I think Saray would have been probably the second version of Asuka. She probably would have been another Asuka. But Saray, maybe she would have been another Kairi Sane. Who knows? But at the end of the day, Saray just came in at the wrong place at the wrong time. There was no way that Saray was going to succeed in the WWE, especially under Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised that she's leaving under her own power. I'm legit surprised that Saray is leaving under her own power. I would have thought for fucking sure that she would have been cut by now. I thought for sure she would have been cut by now, but apparently she's lasted this long and she's leaving under her own power. Maybe she wants to go back to Japan. Maybe she just wants to be closer to her family. Either way, Saray, big missed opportunity in NXT, and a lot of it doesn't have to do with her. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that she was just a part of the wrong place at the wrong time. There was no way that Saray was going to succeed under a Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard produced NXT. It's impossible. It was absolutely fucking impossible. It was never going to work. Never, ever, ever going to work. But either way, that's what's going on with Saray. That's what's going on with Saray, and she will be leaving WWE once her contract is up, which I believe is in the next couple of months, possibly either May or July. And for all we know, it could honestly be next month. I think she came in April, right? QT Marshall, apparently QT Marshall has been making waves on Twitter. He actually got into a Twitter argument against Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri. Now, Raj Giri, I don't have a problem with Raj Giri personally, but you know, as a wrestling fan, as a wrestling analyst, I think Raj Giri's an absolute fucking retard. I think he's a fucking thin-skinned pussy right down to the very last fucking letter. But I don't personally have a problem with Raj Giri. But apparently QT Marshall's been getting himself into some hot water arguing with Raj Giri. And Raj Giri is trying to say that QT Marshall is nothing more than a bum, which is actually quite true. He's a very good wrestler, but he's not a ratings mover. People change the channel when he's on. He's not someone that is going to be a major player. He's not. He's a glorified enhancement talent. A very good wrestler, but he's a glorified enhancement talent. So apparently, WrestlingNews.co reported via a tweet from QT Marshall himself, he reported that the factory has indeed disbanded. Now, QT Marshall's tweet read, and I quote, "We did some fun stuff. Unfortunately, the amount of factory hate from the experts in wrestling was too much and the group had to disband. But keep your eyes on at Big Shotty Lee, at Real Cole Carter, at Aaron Solo AEW and at Mr_Freak Beast, which is Nick Camarado, of course. All I'm getting that when I read this tweet is that QT Marshall is a hypersensitive fuck. That's all I'm getting from this. There comes a point in time where you need to look yourself in the mirror and you need to acknowledge what your role is. QT Marshall's role on TV is not to be a major player. And at the end of the day, the Factory was nothing more than a jobber faction at heart. They were a jobber faction at heart. No one was watching AEW for the Factory. No one was watching AEW for QT Marshall. No one was watching AEW TV for any of them whatsoever. Matter of fact, some people actually changed the channel when they were on. Not because that they're not great wrestlers, but because why would we invest our time in them when they are just a jobber faction at heart? They do not have any charisma whatsoever. They're not a faction that's going to wow you whatsoever. There are a couple of decent wrestlers. I'm not going to discredit their in-ring work, but at the end of the day, when all they do is lose, and lose, why exactly is anyone going to invest our time in them? QT Marshall really needs to take a step back, and he needs to acknowledge the fact that he is not there to win championships. He is not there to be a major star. He should be there solely as a backstage correspondent, and then used sporadically on television here and there when they need someone to put him over. When someone needs an individual to go in there and do a job, put on an 8-minute, 9-minute match, and then ultimately lose in the end to set up and coming star, QT Marshall is indeed that guy to take the pin or take a submission. And at the end of the day, he wants to talk about the experts. Well, I'm sorry. These experts do not like the Factory. These experts do not like you, and these experts are the reason why you are in the position that you're in. These experts are the ones that are pouring money into this account so Tony Khan can pay your valueless ass. Sorry to tell you, QT, but you do not have any value when it comes to being an on-screen character. You don't. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be tuning into Dynamite next Wednesday in Winnipeg to watch QTV. No, they're tuning in to see the House of Black Elite and the Jericho Appreciation Society put on a potential TV Match of the Year candidate. They're there to watch the Dark Order's Stu Grayson return for one night only to help Hangman Page fight the Blackpool Combat Club. They're there to potentially see Taya Valkyrie make her AEW debut against Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. That's why they're there. They're not there for you. And that is something that you're going to have to get through your thick skull. I'm sorry, QT, but you do not have any value in this current era. There are a lot of people who are ahead of you. PW Torch reported a little tidbit of information regarding Ronda Rousey's injury. Apparently, Ronda Rousey's injury is not a work. Ronda Rousey's injury is legit. She's been dealing with an aggravated prior injury, which I'm assuming is to the shoulder. However, it is not expected to infringe on her availability to work at WrestleMania 39. So apparently, despite the injury, she will be wrestling at WrestleMania 39. Great. That's exactly what we need. We need Ronda Rousey on TV wrestling at WrestleMania 39. Yeah, that's exactly what we need. I was actually hoping that the injury would keep her out of WrestleMania 39. The only thing that I hope for right now is whatever happens with Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 39, I can only hope that after WrestleMania 39, that's it. As far as I know, Ronda's contract is said to take her up until WrestleMania 39. And if that's the case, and she leaves afterwards, goodbye, we do not need you, we will not miss you. Ronda Rousey's return outside of that match with Raquel Rodriguez has been a complete fucking failure. That was the only match throughout this entire Ronda Rousey run that's been worth investing our time in. And that was actually a breakout performance for Raquel Rodriguez. So shout out to Raquel Rodriguez for putting on a great performance against Ronda Rousey, who's one of the worst women's wrestlers on the planet right now. But I can only hope that after WrestleMania, that is the end of Ronda Rousey. I really do hope that is the end of Ronda Rousey. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to handle any more Ronda Rousey going forward after WrestleMania 39 is over. But apparently, her injury is legit. I got some news on Solo Sikoa. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is making sure no one beats Solo Sikoa. They want to protect Solo Sikoa as much as possible and make sure that nobody pins him because apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, Sikoa is currently being protected for a future match against Roman Reigns at some point. Now, this is actually very, very interesting. Roman Reigns, realistically, is on his way out. After WrestleMania 39, we're going to start seeing Roman Reigns in more of the Brock Lesnar role. We're going to start seeing Roman in more of the Brock Lesnar role, and Roman Reigns is mainly going to be portrayed as a special attraction. Now, what could this mean for the future? What could this mean for the future? This could honestly mean a multitude of things for the future. Solo Sikoa is currently being protected for a future match against Roman Reigns. Could it be possible that with Jey Uso cutting the promo that we saw, could it be possible that Jey Uso didn't want to turn on Sami Zayn and the Bloodline could very well turn their backs on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39 and Cody wins the World Championship? And if that's the case, who do you think is going to be leading the Bloodline? It's going to be Solo Sikoa. And if things do work out as I think they're going to work out, we could potentially be on the verge of seeing Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam this year. And if that's the case, I would not have a single problem with that whatsoever. Because Solo Sikoa, he has improved massively. And if Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns, they have a match at SummerSlam with Solo winning, that is going to catapult Solo up into the realm of superstardom. So keep your eyes out for that. Just a little something to think about as we get deeper and deeper into WrestleMania season. Solo Sikoa, if anything, he looks like he is being groomed to run the Bloodline. And I, personally, for me, I cannot wait to see the progression of Solo Sikoa. I actually think Solo Sikoa is better on the main roster than he was in NXT. I honestly think Solo Sikoa has been better booked on the main roster than he has in NXT. I got a report on Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who just came off one of the greatest matches of his career and one of the greatest matches of all time with Bryan Danielson at AEW Revolution in what was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Iron Man match of all time. So, apparently, Fightful reported that there were several within WWE that have been very interested in when MJF's contract inevitably expires. Now, apparently, a few WWE individuals actually spoke to Fightful, and they actually told Fightful that MJF told them, and I quote, "I can't wait to be there next year." Now, normally, if this was anybody else, I would probably be a betting man and say that they could be WWE bound sooner rather than later. But after thinking about this for a little bit, I'm kind of under the impression that this is just MJF doing MJF things. Kind of similar to FTR returning to AEW, and apparently Dax said, "Oh yeah, we still have contracts expiring in the middle of April." I don't believe that Tony Khan would bring back FTR if he did not already lock him in the contracts. I do not believe that Tony Khan would allow MJF to do and say the things that he's doing, regardless of who he is, regardless of what he's all about. I do not believe for one single solitary second that Tony Khan would allow MJF to do and say the things that he's doing if he did not already lock him down to another long-term contract. I don't believe it. This would virtually be a sign of MJF leaving AEW. But now that I'm taking a look at this and I'm thinking about who MJF is, I'm thinking about who he is, I'm thinking about what he's done, everything that MJF is all about and what we have known about MJF for God knows how many years now, everything to me is pointing to the fact that MJF has already re-signed a new deal with AEW. There is no way that you're going to be able to convince me that Tony Khan would allow MJF to do and say the things that he's doing if he didn't already lock him down. At the end of the day, even Fightful came out and said that, yeah, this could just be MJF doing MJF things. I mean, of course it is. Of course it is. MJF has been known to blur the lines between kayfabe and reality. Some of the individuals that actually know him personally haven't even shown us what he's really like behind the scenes. But apparently he's the nicest guy ever behind the scenes. He actually helped get Chris Statlander into AEW. But at the end of the day, MJF is a man that is an old school type of heel that is going to blur the lines between kayfabe and reality. There is no doubt in my mind that MJF has already signed, sealed, and delivered a new contract with AEW. Now, I'm not sure how much longer they're going to milk this storyline with MJF potentially leaving. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they could be doing an angle with CM Punk. I don't know if CM Punk is going to be willing to go out and do this angle, but as far as I know, it seems like everything that Maxwell Jacob Friedman is doing, the fact that he's calling himself the best wrestler in the world, the fact that he came out with the devil mask that he returned with at All Out last year, everything regarding MJF right now is kind of teasing a return of CM Punk. And if anything, could they potentially do an angle with Tony Khan and CM Punk where MJF beats CM Punk either at an All Out, either at a Dynamite or a Full Gear? He beats CM Punk at some point. He beats CM Punk and he leaves the crowd in the same exact fashion that CM Punk left the crowd in Chicago at Money in the Bank 2011 when he beat John Cena for the WWE Championship. Could we potentially see MJF and CM Punk in Long Island at some point on the eve of MJF's contract potentially expiring? And could we potentially see MJF blow a kiss to Tony Khan, similar to how CM Punk blew a kiss to Vince McMahon? I don't know. That is definitely on the table. Maybe we see MJF versus CM Punk in Chicago at All Out. I don't know. I'm not sure how much longer they're going to continue milking this angle where MJF could potentially leave AEW. But at this point, I truthfully do believe that MJF has already signed, sealed, and delivered another contract. He's already signed away. He's on another contract, and they're just keeping it hush-hush for storyline purposes. That's just me. Oh, and by the way, I still cannot believe, even after all these days, people are still complaining about MJF throwing a drink at a kid's face. What the fuck are you complaining about? Are you really this fucking pussified? Are you really this thin-skinned? Some people were saying, oh yeah, it was tequila and it got in the kid's eyes. First of all, who the fuck is drinking a full-blown beer cup? This wasn't a fucking shot glass. This was a full-blown beer cup. Who the fuck is drinking a beer cup full of tequila? Like, it wasn't even a beer cup. It was like a fucking 7-Eleven super big gulp cup. And it was half full. That's like That's legitimately that much of tequila. Who's drinking that much of tequila at a fucking wrestling show? Do they even serve tequila in California for these types of events? I don't believe that shit for 1 second. And even if it was, at the end of the fucking day, it's a fucking beverage. It's a fucking beverage, and it is all a part of MJF's character. People are saying, oh, leave the kids out of this. Leave the kids out of this. First of all, you're acting like MJF fucking tombstone the kid from the middle rope like he did Bryan Danielson at Revolution. MJF didn't lay a fucking finger on the kid. He threw a drink at a kid's face. It got in his eyes. It got on his pants. Whatever. It is all a part of his character, and at the end of the fucking day, I don't believe for 1 second it was tequila. And even if it was, it don't fucking matter, because guess what? The kid got a moment that's going to last him a lifetime. He's going to be telling his children, he's going to be telling his nieces and nephews about what happened there. And on top of that, he got to go backstage. He got a free fucking pass to go backstage and meet his favorite wrestler, Powerhouse Hobbs. So I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about. If all we have to do is get fucking tequila thrown in our faces by MJF to go backstage and meet your favorite superstar, I would do that fucking 8 days out of the week, twice on Sundays. 8 times out of the week, twice on Sundays. Easily. And what about the mother and the kid? Have we heard a single fucking peep out of the mother and the kid? I haven't heard one single complaint out of the mother, out of the kid. It happened. The kid went backstage. The kid met Powerhouse Hobbs. For all we know, the kid got to witness Powerhouse Hobbs winning the TNT Championship this past Wednesday on Dynamite. So what the fuck are you complaining about? I swear to fucking God, people making a big deal out of nothing. I do not believe, if you actually believe that they have a fucking super big gulp cup full of tequila at a wrestling show like that, at what time? It was 8 o'clock at night. Doesn't that mother have to drive the kid home? What the fuck? Seriously. Holy fuck. You people are fucking stupid. Not only are you stupid, but you're also fucking pussies right down to the very last letter. You all need to reevaluate your priorities. He didn't lay a finger on the kid. If all we need to do is throw drinks at children in order to give children their childhood memories, I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about. That kid had the fucking night of a lifetime at the end of the day. No, he didn't. No, MJF did not go too far. You all need to start reevaluating your priorities, and you really need to stop being so hypersensitive. It's MJF. And yes, I will use that excuse. He's MJF. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He could go out there, take a shit in the ring, and I would defend him because he's MJF. When you're MJF and you are as good as MJF, the rules apply differently to you. Sorry to tell you, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal at all. What I find funny is that more people are complaining about that. More people are complaining about that, but they're not complaining over the fact that Vince McMahon was apparently backstage at Raw. But you want to complain about MJF throwing tequila? Sure. Bullshit. You want to complain about MJF throwing in a beverage in the face of a child. Meanwhile, Vince McMahon is taking his steps in his elaborate plan to reclaim all the power that he lost when he was forced to step down back in July of last year. Dave Meltzer came out on Monday afternoon before Monday Night Raw, and apparently he stated that Vince McMahon was backstage at the show. What the fuck was he doing back there? Well, apparently, Fightful reported that various people stated that he looked different, and I quote, he looked different, and I quote, he dyed his hair and he was sporting a new mustache. PW Insider followed up, and they actually revealed that the reason why Vince was backstage at the show, it was because he was there to pay a visit to John Cena. John Cena was making his return to Monday Night Raw for WrestleMania season to begin a program with Austin Theory, and apparently Vince wanted to visit John Cena, as him and John Cena are very good friends in real life. Meltzer and WrestleVotes, however, confirmed that Vince McMahon was actually in gorilla position all night long. He wasn't barking orders at anyone, but he was there all night long, from the start of the show to the end of the show. So let me ask you all a question. For those of you that just want to brush this shit off as nothing. Oh, yeah, he's there to visit John Cena. Yeah, it's no worries. Yeah, he's there to visit John Cena. You know, they're very good friends in real life. Yeah. Let me ask you this. If he was merely there to visit John Cena, why didn't he just stay in catering? If he was merely there to visit John Cena, why didn't he just stay in catering? Why didn't he just give John Cena a call to come to catering to catch up with him? Or why didn't he just stay in his private locker room? Why did he need to hang around in Gorilla? Regardless of whether or not he was barking orders at anyone, why exactly did he need to remain in Gorilla? Didn't Triple H come out a couple weeks ago and said he still talks to Vince every now and then? You don't think Vince is giving Triple H creative input, creative ideas? You don't think that Vince McMahon is watching Triple H like a hawk? Vince McMahon could not fucking stand. He could not stand the fact that he got removed from power and he was forced to step down. He was watching Triple H like a fucking hawk. And as soon as Triple H was starting to vamp up everything and really rev up the engines going into October and November, Vince McMahon started infiltrating WWE creative. He started pitching ideas to Triple H, and he was watching Triple H with fucking eagle eyes, and Triple H had to scale back, and he needed to book the show more Vince McMahon-esque just to appease him. What about the Royal Rumble? Are you going to tell me that that show was a Triple H produced show? Are you really going to tell me that that was a Triple H produced show? Fuck no. Fuck out of here with that shit. You cannot tell me at all that that Royal Rumble show, the two Royal Rumbles, you cannot tell me that they were produced by Triple H. No fucking chance. No fucking chance were those produced by Triple H. No fucking chance. No fucking chance was Cody coming out at number 30 a Triple H move. No way was that fucking lights out match with, or the pitch black match, whatever the fuck that you call it, the fucking pitch black match. No fucking way was that pitch black match with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. No way was that a Triple H produced match. No way was that Triple H produced. You're going to tell me that Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair and the lackluster fucking match that they had, they got more time than LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. You're going to tell me that that was a Triple H produced match? Really? Triple H produced? You're going to tell me that Chelsea Green getting eliminated in 5 seconds in the Royal Rumble, you're going to tell me that that was a Vince McMahon, that wasn't a Vince McMahon say? That was not, that wasn't a decision that had Vince McMahon's grubby little paws written all over it? No fucking chance that Royal Rumble show was produced by Triple H and Triple H solely. No chance. All you need to do is watch the show. You don't need Meltzer. You don't need PW Torch. You don't need Fightful. You don't need Alvarez. You don't need PW Insider. You don't need fucking Wrestling Inc. and fucking that fucking pussy Raj Giri. You don't need fucking Ryan Satin. You don't need fucking Conan and that fucking senile Mexican mafia bullshit artist. You don't need Jim Cornette. You don't need any of these individuals. All you need to do is watch the show, and you can pinpoint what is Triple H and what is Vince McMahon. You cannot tell me that Triple H would book Brock Lesnar and Omos at WrestleMania. And I know for a fact he has a hand in Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. It was already confirmed that Vince McMahon was the one that pitched Omos versus Brock Lesnar. But yet you're going to tell me that, yeah, this isn't a scenario that we should worry about. He's in Gorilla. He's getting familiar with it again. This is all part of his elaborate plan. It is a slow, elaborate plan to reclaim all the power that he forcefully had to give up. Not willingly, he had to forcefully give it up. He had to forcefully give it up, and this is all part of his plan to regain it all. He is a man on a mission. He's out for blood, he's out for heads, and he will not stop until he's either in a straitjacket, in a prison cell, or in a grave. He will not stop. He will not. Everyone should be worried. Everyone. Vince McMahon and the cunning nature of that man, that fucking evil son of a bitch, he will stop at nothing to reclaim what he lost. From booking Lesnar and Omos at WrestleMania, to having a large say in things that happened at the Royal Rumble, all the way to being in gorilla position this past Monday when he was supposedly there to visit John Cena. Bullshit. It is all part of his elaborate plan. This is just another step. This is just another part of the plan, another piece of the puzzle being put into place when Vince McMahon, when he is ready, he will strike like a cobra. He will take back what he lost or what he was forced to give up, and he will indeed get back what he wants. He will stop at nothing to do so. I am legitimately concerned, and everyone should be concerned. Booking matches at WrestleMania, having a say in the Royal Rumble, unanimously getting the vote back into the board of directors, weaseling his way around shit, threatening to hold all of these media rights deals up if they did not let him back into the company. And you're going to tell me that there's nothing to worry about. Being in gorilla position this past Monday on Raw. You're going to tell me, and I will continue to repeat it over and over again until you guys get it. You are going to tell me that there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. The man booked Brock Lesnar and Omos at WrestleMania. He was allowed to be there at Monday Night Raw. Just him being there, that's enough of a sign in itself. Him being in gorilla. Him having a say in the Rumble. Him booking Lesnar and Bray. You know for a fact he's booking Lashley and Bray Wyatt. You know for a fact he's booking Lashley and Bray Wyatt. Him gaining ultimate power back into the board of directors, threatening to hold the media rights deals up if they didn't let him back into the company. And I honestly do believe that if something is not done, I honestly do believe that the Saudi Arabian investment fund is ultimately going to end up buying WWE. And they will allow Vince McMahon to run WWE because they don't give a shit. They're just happy to have WWE. I'm telling you, everyone should be worried. Everyone should be worried, and you should be worried a lot. I, honest to God, don't really know what else I can say. It seems as though I'm just sounding like a broken record at this rate. I'm sounding like a broken record at this rate. I'm saying the same things over and over again, but nobody seems to fucking understand. Nobody seems to fucking understand how serious this really is. How serious this really is. How deadly this could be for the company. How deadly, in general, Vince McMahon is. He is a sadistic motherfucker. He is the devil. MJF calls himself the devil. No, Vince is the fucking devil. He will stop at nothing. He will stop at nothing until he has ultimate power once again. And even then, I am thoroughly convinced that that man is going to find a way to outlive everyone, and he's still going to be running the company at 150 years old. This is bad, and this is very, very bad. This is beyond bad. This is beyond horrible. This is fucking devastating. And this could very well be the final nail in the coffin for WWE. How many people, how many fans are they going to lose if the Saudi Arabian government ends up buying WWE? And they will not care, no matter what Vince McMahon is accused of, no matter what investigations are still pending. They will gladly take him on. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He'll write it in the contract, in the deal, that I run WWE if the Saudi Arabian government wants to buy. They are legitimately filthy rich. They're fucking swimming in pools of money over there, the Saudi Arabian government. I don't know how, but they are. We'll keep an eye on what's going on there, but those are your news, rumors, and reports. We got plenty more material to get into. We're going to get into Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage. We are also going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about NXT and Ring of Honor, because NXT and Ring of Honor, they actually were not bad shows at all this week. Ring of Honor is building pretty decently towards Supercard of Honor. It's nothing over the top. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing, oh my God, this is such groundbreaking television. It's not, but it's not horrible by any sense of the imagination. NXT was not bad by any sense of the imagination this week either. With NXT, we actually got a very good segment, the Grayson Waller effect with Shawn Michaels and Grayson Waller. And I actually love the Grayson Waller effect. I think that the Grayson Waller effect and whatever Grayson Waller's got going on over there, I think that that is probably the best WWE-inspired talk show in many, many years. Better than the Kevin Owens show, better than Miz TV, better than the fucking Ambrose Asylum. Some good shit. So Grayson Waller and Shawn Michaels, they had a very good back and forth. And we are getting Johnny Gargano taking the place of Shawn Michaels, and it's Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller, and they are going to round out what happened in December of 2021 before Johnny Gargano had to go on hiatus to care for his child. We are also getting Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, which that's going to be a very, very symbolic match. That is going to be a passing of the torch type of match. And honestly, that is probably the most special match that I've honestly felt for NXT. That's probably going to be NXT's biggest matchup in many, many years. I have not felt as though NXT has really had a special standout matchup since probably before the pandemic. So the fact that this match is taking place, I think this is going to be a very, very good match and a symbolic match at that. We also got Dragon Lee. He is indeed coming to NXT, and if anything, I do believe that he could potentially answer an open challenge of Wesley, and he could potentially win the North American title at Stand and Deliver, which I would love. Meiko Satomura and Roxanne Perez, they put on a very hard-hitting match, which resulted in Roxanne Perez fake collapsing. It was all per storyline. We got Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough potentially headed towards Stand and Deliver as well, so we got ourselves one hell of a card. We got ourselves one hell of a card for Stand and Deliver, and that right there could very well be the best NXT production that we've seen post NXT 2.0. And then on Ring of Honor side, we got ourselves some build towards Supercard of Honor. We had Eddie Kingston saying that he wants a shot at Claudio. Claudio, he came out and he said that a man without honor will never be the Ring of Honor World Champion. So apparently they're playing that up, and we could very well see Claudio give Eddie Kingston what he wants. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, I would not mind at all. I would not mind at all if Eddie Kingston actually beats Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship, because I think that would be a great role for Eddie Kingston. Then you also got Willow Nightingale and Athena, who put on a great main event this past Thursday, a great match for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Athena is absolutely phenomenal at what she does. And if I am booking this, I'm absolutely giving Athena a showcase on Dynamite in the Outcasts versus AEW original storyline as well. Then, of course, we also got Mark Briscoe. He is challenging Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And Wheeler Yuta apparently is running through all of Katsuyori Shibata's students from the Shibata Dojo in Japan. He already beat Timothy Thatcher. He is facing Clark Connors next week. And if this leads to a Shibata versus Yuta match at Super Card of Honor, I certainly will not complain about it. I think that's going to be a phenomenal match. Wheeler Yuta is doing some phenomenal work. And we also got an announcement on what's going down with the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, which we will talk about when we get to the Rampage review. But that is what's going on with NXT and Ring of Honor. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, if all three of these shows, if Supercard, Stand and Deliver, and WrestleMania, if they all deliver in the way that I do believe that they can deliver, if they all deliver in the way that I do believe they can deliver, I do believe that this could potentially be the best weekend that professional wrestling has ever had in many, many years. This could be the best string of shows, the best weekend that we as wrestling fans have had in years, and I mean years. With Supercard and the way that that card's shaping out to be, Stand and Deliver, and WrestleMania, night number 1 and night number 2, if they all deliver in the manner that I know that they can deliver, it's going to be one hell of a fucking weekend. Probably one of the best weekends in professional wrestling history. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was not as bad as it normally is, and we did get some build towards WrestleMania. But I don't know about you guys, and listen, I don't want to start this off on a negative tone, even though Monday Night Raw isn't necessarily a good show. I don't really want to start this off on a negative tone, but for some weird reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm just having a very hard time being invested in anything going into WrestleMania outside of the Sami Zayn bloodline angle. Outside of whatever Sami Zayn and the bloodline are doing, I just don't care. I really don't. And that doesn't have to do with any of the talent. That doesn't even have to do with some of the storylines. Some of the storylines that we've been getting have been okay. I just can't help but feel like there's just a bad vibe around the WWE product with Vince being back. Honest to God, when Vince came back, Vince being back, I don't think I've been able to fully enjoy the WWE product in 2023. I honestly don't believe I've been able to fully sit down and enjoy the WWE product in 2023 simply because of the fact that we have a dark cloud looming over WWE and his name is Vince McMahon. I don't care. I care about Ring of Honor more so than I do WWE right now. And it's not because that they're putting on terrible shows. It's just because Vince is just dangling over WWE like a fucking storm cloud waiting to explode. I honestly feel like at any given time, the WWE is sitting on a ticking time bomb, and his name is Vince McMahon. At any time, Vince could explode. At any given moment, Vince McMahon could very well take over completely again. I'm scared. I'm honestly concerned about what's going on after WrestleMania. I'm genuinely concerned about what's going on after WrestleMania. I honestly believe that at any given moment, Vince McMahon could just seize all the power back, and we could honestly be right back in the position that we were in last year before Vince McMahon retired. I just cannot bring myself to fully enjoy or fully care about anything WWE main roster related because Vince McMahon and that dark entity, that dark fucking cloud, has been following them around. That dark fucking entity known as Vince McMahon. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. Do you honestly believe that Vince McMahon is just going to sit around and not do anything? You honestly believe that Vince McMahon is just going to sit around and be okay with what's going on? Of course not. At any given time, at any given fucking time, I feel as though Vince McMahon is going to strike. He's going to strike when we least expect it, and after WrestleMania, everything is going to change and not for the better. I honestly do believe that we could very well be on the verge of WWE announcing that they're being sold to the Saudi Arabian government probably around the King and Queen of the Ring event, which is in Saudi Arabia a day before Double or Nothing. It's legitimately in Saudi Arabia a day before Double or Nothing. So if you're not fearful, I don't know what you're taking, but I think you may want to reevaluate yourself. But Monday Night Raw, we did get some build. We got a little bit of build towards WrestleMania. Kevin Owens, he fought Solo Sikoa. This wasn't bad, but ultimately this ended in a disqualification before Sami Zayn came out to save Kevin Owens. Jimmy and Solo ran off, and the crowd was hyped for Sami. So Sami and Owens, they were in the ring. Owens was in the corner. Sami extended his hand to Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens just walked away. Just another layer being added onto the storyline. Bobby Lashley, he cut a promo backstage asking Bray Wyatt, what is it going to take for you to face me like a man? I don't care about this feud. Matter of fact, this match could end up making the WrestleMania card in general worse. Bianca Belair versus Carmella. Really a nothing match. Bianca wins. She sent Chelsea Green into the timekeeper's area and then delivered a KOD on Carmella to win. Afterwards, she was in the ring and Asuka came out. Asuka came out and she delivered a poison mist to Chelsea Green. And they ran off, did Chelsea Green and Carmella. Apparently, they are a duo now. So it looks like we have ourselves potentially a team that's going to win the NXT or the WWE Women's Tag Team titles before they inevitably split up, just like every women's tag team does. But apparently, Chelsea Green and Carmella are a duo now. So Asuka, she sprayed mist in the face of Chelsea Green, and then that was pretty much it. Asuka and Bianca then stood face to face, and all I got from this is the fact that there is no heat. There's no heat. There is no investment in Bianca or Asuka. They're just building this off of the fact that, yeah, it's going to be a great match. Bianca is stale. Bianca, honest to God, is stale. And I'm not blaming that on her at all. I honestly feel like Bianca still has not recovered from that loss against Becky Lynch at SummerSlam a year and a half ago. The way that I'm just sensing this, the way that I just sense a vibe around all of this, it just feels like Bianca has not recovered. And that loss, people laughed at me. People were laughing and they were making all these fucking jokes and complaining, oh God, here comes the fucking experts saying that Bianca is buried. Do you feel like Bianca is the same as she was going into that match? No. Bianca Belair has felt stale for the longest time. Bianca Belair has not felt like she should have. We have not gotten any glimpses of NXT Bianca Belair. The babyface run for Bianca Belair has seen its day. Bianca Belair, honest to God, she needs a heel turn. She needs a heel turn. She needs a complete revamp. She is not, and I'm telling you right now, she is not someone that I'm really going to sit here and invest my time in long term. I'm sorry, she's not. She's stale. She's boring. All I got from this is the fact that there's no heat, there's no animosity, Bianca is stale, and Asuka needs to be champion. That's all I'm getting from this. All I want to see is Asuka win the championship. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. Bianca is stale. The Miz came out, and he was out there to moderate the face-to-face with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, and this was actually one of the best parts of the show. So Logan Paul came out, Rollins came out, and the crowd was singing his theme song. The Miz was getting pissed. The fans actually hijacked this segment for a little bit. Logan Paul then said, this segment got a time limit, so shut up, which I loved. I thought that was a great one-liner by Logan Paul. Seth was hyped up. He said, I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins. So Paul called Seth Rollins a clown, and the crowd sang his theme song. He said he dumped Seth Rollins over the top rope at the Royal Rumble. And I don't know what your problem is with me, other than the fact that I can do your job better than you. I'm on my way in. You're on your way out. I've accomplished more than a year than you have in your entire career. So if I were you, I wouldn't like me either. The crowd was actually chanting, "Fuck you, Logan," which I loved. The crowd was chanting, "Fuck you, Logan." They had to turn the volume down, but we could still hear what the crowd was chanting. They were chanting, "Fuck you, Logan." So Rollins says, he does make some good points, but none of them are the reason why we don't like you. We don't like you because you are the scum of the earth. You're a troll. You are a dumpster fire, and we don't want you in our house. Boston came here to see me get my pound of flesh. The time for talk is over. It's time to fight. So Miz tried to calm everyone down because that's what the Miz does. Miz is trying to slow everyone's rolls. So Paul said, "If I want to fight, I'm going to do it because that's how I do. But I'm not going to do it here because I don't fight for free. And I'm sure as hell not fighting for free in Boston. Maybe I'd consider it where there was a little bit more star power." Rollins then tossed the Miz out of the ring. We get a brawl. Miz got super kicked. Paul then with a punch right to Seth Rollins. And Paul said, "I'll see you at WrestleMania. Bye-bye, bitch." So Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, they had an excellent segment, actually. This was a very good segment. Logan Paul and Seth Rollins brought the energy. They brought the intensity. And I honestly do believe that they could have one of the best matches of the year if WWE just lets them go. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what we get from Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. Omos. I can't believe that we have to deal with Omos again. Still don't know why this motherfucker is employed. Omos took on Dolph Ziggler. Omos won in less than 60 seconds. And MVP promised that Brock Lesnar will fall to the Nigerian giant Omos. God help us all. God help us all with Omos and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. When Dolph Ziggler was doing his thing during the Triple H administration at the start, he was putting on great matches with AJ Styles and with Finn Balor and Chad Gable. He was putting on some great matches, was Dolph Ziggler. Nowadays, he can't even last 60 seconds against Omos of all people. What a joke. Seriously, what a fucking joke. Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano. Let me tell you something. I cannot express to you how much I hate WWE fans. You have Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano fighting for you on television, and you guys are sitting on your fucking hands, making no noise. Holy shit. I mean, I get that it's Boston, and Boston's a bunch of fucking retards, but oh my God. Make some fucking noise, people. I can't even tell you that this was a great match, even though it had Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. The crowd was fucking dead silent. Fucking stupid. Crowd was dead fucking silent. So Gargano came in with a Hurricane Rana and a Tope Suicida. Coming back from commercial, Gargano with an up kick. He mounted a comeback, step up Enziguri and a slingshot spear for a 2. Sling blade by Balor, super kick by Gargano, a second one, Finn kicked out. Finn with the Eye of the Hurricane, that got a 2. Gargano took out Dominic. Balor with a double stomp, shotgun dropkick in the corner. He went for the coup de grace. All of a sudden, Edge comes out. Edge comes out from behind, shoves Balor off the top. Gargano with one final beat, and Gargano gets the win over Finn Balor. Priest was then taken out by Dexter Lumis, and Edge delivered a spear to Finn Balor with a lot of fucking authority behind it, and Edge went to Balor and said, I will see you next week. So it looks like that we will be getting the answer to Finn Balor's challenge, and I can see a Hell in a Cell match with Edge and Finn Balor at WrestleMania. It was announced that WWE King and Queen of the Ring will be taking place on May 27th in Saudi Arabia. Not sure how I feel about the tournament taking place in Saudi Arabia, but regardless, I think that they should be two very good tournaments. And if you're asking me, I would probably give it to Io Sky, the women's, and I would give the men's to Finn Balor. And I would put both of those women in world title matches at SummerSlam. I know some people are going to say Gunther, but at the end of the day, listen, I don't think that we need Gunther fighting for the world title yet. It's too early for Gunther. Way too early. If you're asking me, I would do Io Sky and Finn Balor. And I would do Io Sky versus Asuka and Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes. That's what I would do. Piper Niven versus Nikki Cross. This match lasted 60 seconds. Vince McMahon written all over it. Piper Niven just absolutely demolished Nikki Cross. And that right there just proved to me that Vince McMahon was absolutely written all over the show. All you need to do is watch it. 60 fucking seconds for the women. John Cena. John Cena came out for his return. He was very, very happy. He looked like he was actually on the verge of crying. Austin Theory came out before he could even get a word in. So Theory said, no, keep it going. Keep the chants going. So the crowd was chanting for John Cena. Theory said that, I have a lot of respect for John Cena. I became a WWE superstar because of you, so I thank you for that. I actually came out here to give you a gift. This gift is bigger than any movie role that you'll get. My gift is me and you on the grandest stage of them all. Austin Theory versus John Cena for the United States Championship. Cena said no. So I was actually a little shocked here, and I was wondering, well, why did he say no? So Cena goes on to say, I'm not interested in your gift because you haven't earned the right to give it. I've been listening to you, and I don't care. We don't care because we don't believe in you, and you don't believe in you. You don't got nothing in here. And Cena points to his heart. I'm walking in your shoes. I am your ghost of Christmas future, said John Cena. So Cena was really going to start to lay into him here. Cena goes, you're in that phase of ruthless aggression. Ruthless aggression almost got me fired, dude. The opportunities aren't enough. You got no heart. You got no soul. You don't believe in you. You're a pair, or you're a pair of, well, I can't even read my own handwriting. Here we go. He said, you're a pair of trunks away from being a jabroni. You're a pair of trunks away from being a jabroni. So that was a shot to The Rock right there. You have the best name in WWE history, though, because your name no better than Austin Theory. Because in theory, you should be great. Everyone should be here to see you, but no one cares. You're wasting our time. We would like to give you a gift. Shut up, turn around, get out, and we'll let you walk out of here in one piece. Theory then said, I ain't going anywhere, just like that bald spot on your head ain't going anywhere. So Theory goes, you say never give up, but after what I'm hearing right now, is John Cena giving up? Where's the hustle? Where's the loyalty? Where's the respect? You know, it's true what they say, because this time everyone should tell the children growing up to never meet your heroes, because at the end of the day, all of your heroes that you meet are going to be a disappointment to you. So then Cena, with probably one of the best lines that I've heard in WWE all year, Cena just absolutely destroys Austin Theory with this one line. He goes, you know, I would rather be bald than have them pipe in fake crowd noises for my matches because nobody cares. You're a dumb son of a bitch. I've been trying to save your ass because you're not ready, not because I'm giving up. If you lose everything. Even if you win, you lose everything. Because then you got to come out in front of the most ruthless audience ever and explain yourself. You're full of crap and you've left me no choice. You brought me into it. Do you want to see Austin Theory and John Cena at WrestleMania? Crowd was chanting yes. Cena said, remember this moment. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. It will be Austin Theory versus John Cena. But we all know that you don't have it here. You don't have it here. And you really don't have it here. And he lightly punched him in the nuts. And Cena then said, he looked back. This was great. So after Cena kind of knocked him in the nuts with his fist, he looked back and he told Theory, you really need to work on that last bit. Cena then introduced Cody Rhodes, which I really don't understand why. Seemed like they were trying to force him down our throats. But regardless of that, this segment was absolutely fantastic. Cena just coming out and absolutely destroying Austin Theory was fucking great. And I'm actually very interested in seeing what we're going to get at this match. This segment alone did more to build towards Austin Theory and John Cena, more so than WWE has done to build towards Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in the last 2 months. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin. Chad Gable tapped out Baron Corbin in 2 minutes. Who cares? Becky Lynch and Lita came out to celebrate their tag team title victory, and they brought out Trish Stratus as well to thank her for helping them. Damage Control then interrupted. Bayley clearly wasn't happy. Bayley then said, you're all selfish. You're all the reason why we're in this ring, but we will be the reason why you never come back. Trish then challenged Bayley to a 6-woman tag at WrestleMania, and we get our confirmation. And Damage Control looked like bums as per usual. And I'm going to throw this out there. Damage Control is the biggest failure under the Triple H administration. I don't know what the fuck Triple H's motive was, but Damage Control is legitimately the female version of the Social Outcasts, if you remember them. What fucking purpose do they have? What purpose? Seriously. There's legitimately nothing for anyone to invest their time in with Damage Control. They're a trio of great wrestlers, but all they do is lose and lose and lose. What do you think's happening at WrestleMania? They're going to lose. I'd be shocked if Damage Control ends up winning at WrestleMania. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso. So these two had a semi-decent match here. Really nothing over the top or crazy. Solo was actually ejected from ringside because the ref caught him in the middle of the Samoan spike. He didn't touch Sami, but he was this close to delivering the Samoan spike to Sami. Sami came back with a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2. Jey Uso came through the crowd after Jimmy dropped Sami with a super kick in midair. Jimmy was all happy to see his brother, but at the end of the day, Sami, he took advantage and rolled up Jimmy Uso to get the 1-2-3 victory, and Jey Uso looked on in disappointment. So then, Jey Uso, he looked like he was about to cry. Jey Uso looked like he was about to cry. So we had Jey Uso, he was just kind of holding his brother's shoulders, and he was with this face of, man, I don't want to do this, but I know I have to do this. So Jey then went outside, slowly walked up to Sami. He embraced Sami Zayn to a thunderous pop. The crowd just absolutely exploded. Jimmy looked distraught. They threw up their ones to the sky. All of a sudden, Jey Uso super kicked Sami Zayn, threw him into Jimmy. It was an all-out assault before Cody Rhodes came out to save Sami Zayn as the show went off of the air. So it looks like that they may be building towards a 6-woman tag between the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens before the actual WrestleMania event. So it should be a decent little match for sure before we get to WrestleMania. But as far as this segment goes, I think this was something that we all expected. And the main reason why they extended the storyline was specifically because of the fact that WWE knew that legitimately the only thing that people really care about going into WrestleMania is Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. No one cares about anything else. The reason why WWE did not pull the trigger at the Elimination Chamber is specifically because they couldn't be bothered. And honest to God, it was actually very, very, very lazy. WWE did not pull the trigger with Jey Uso at the Elimination Chamber, and they didn't have Kevin Owens realign with Sami at the Chamber simply because of the fact that they could not be bothered to write any more intriguing storylines going into Mania. The only thing that people care about is Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. It is the biggest storyline in professional wrestling right now. And honest to God, it's actually very lazy. So they dragged it out going into March simply because of the fact that they wanted to tell the story over the course of over the next few weeks because they cannot be bothered to write any more creative television. And it just proves to me, in their heart of hearts, it doesn't matter what administration that they're under, whether it be Triple H or Vince McMahon, WWE is lazy with creative at heart. They are. Jey Uso should have turned on Sami at the Chamber, and Owen should have aligned with Sami at the Chamber. But they dragged it out because they're lazy. Now, not to say it was a bad segment. It was a good segment, and the crowd was very, very hyped for it. But at the end of the day, sorry, laziness is laziness. That was Monday Night Raw. Really nothing over the top outside of a few segments. So from there, we go into AEW Dynamite, which was actually a very nice show. They had a very nice flow to the show, and they set the pace very, very nicely for what is to come going into the future. We had Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal for the All-Atlantic Championship, which is now being rebranded. So this was a very good match. Very good match between the two. We had some back and forth counters. This was a very storyline-driven match, and I actually liked that change of pace. It was very, very, very storyline-driven. It had a very nice in-ring psychology. Cassidy was working on Jay Lethal's shoulder, and Jay Lethal was working on Cassidy's leg. So we had some nice back and forth, the typical offense between them, the lethal combination, the satellite DDT, a brainbuster. So Cassidy, his leg gave out because he could not hit the orange punch. Couldn't hit the orange punch because of his injured leg, because Lethal had him in a figure four. Lethal then kicked the leg out from under Cassidy. Lethal could not hit the lethal injection because his shoulder gave out. So I thought that was a very nice touch. Orange Cassidy then with the orange punch, and Orange Cassidy retains the All-Atlantic Championship in a very good match to start off the show. Afterwards, Jeff Jarrett came out from behind Cassidy, hit him with the stroke, and then hit Orange Cassidy with the guitar right in his leg. Right in his leg. So that must have hurt like a motherfucker. And next week, it was confirmed that we will indeed get Orange Cassidy and Jeff Jarrett for the All-Atlantic title, but it is now being rebranded. It is now the AEW International Championship, which I have absolutely no problem with. I think that that is a very, very good name. Doesn't have the same ring as All Atlantic, but either way, as long as Orange Cassidy is still being a workhorse and he's still defending that championship every week in great matches, I think that at the end of the day, it is not a bad thing at all. But Jeff Jarrett in a championship match, I mean, holy shit. Holy shit. I really don't understand why Jeff Jarrett continues to get all of this television time. The only thing that I can honestly come up with is it's just the fact that Jeff Jarrett loves the business, and I guess he just wants to work with the young talent. Maybe Jeff Jarrett knows that he's just a heat fucking magnet, and whoever is standing across the ring from him automatically becomes the biggest babyface of the night. Jeff Jarrett knows that whoever punches him in the face is automatically going to become the fan favorite of the night because Jeff Jarrett is just that much of a heat magnet. Maybe Jeff Jarrett wants to work with the younger talent, and maybe he wants to put over the younger talent. I mean, he looks great for his age. He's still moving around pretty nicely. He's going in there and he's putting over younger talent, which I appreciate. I don't know. Either way, I really do hope that we get Jeff Jarrett scaled back a lot. Jeff Jarrett, honestly, he's great at what he does. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the fucking day, I mean, I would much rather see Jay Lethal on television rather than Jeff Jarrett. So I really do fucking hope that after next week, we really see a reduction of Jeff Jarrett on TV. Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks came out to cut a promo, and he said, for the past 10, 11 days, I spent my time here in California. I beat Chris Jericho at Revolution. I'm having one hell of a week. Well, Ricky, what's next? The answer is, I'm not sure. Where am I going to go next? All of a sudden, Bullet Club's music hits. Bullet Club's music hits, and Juice Robinson attacks Ricky Starks and drops him in the middle of the ring. And it looks to me like we could be getting a Bullet Club reunion in AEW. Could this be the gateway to getting Jay White into AEW? And if that's the case, if we're going to start the build towards Forbidden Door, could we be looking at a potential matchup between Jay White and Ricky Starks at Forbidden Door? I don't know about you, but that sounds like one hell of a fucking match, if I do say so myself. That sounds like one hell of a fucking match, and I would not mind seeing that match whatsoever. However, if this is a little mini feud, I don't mind it. But if you're asking me, Ricky Starks should absolutely be in contention for the AEW International Championship. I said it on the Rewind for Revolution this past Monday. The AEW All-Atlantic Championship, now being rebranded as the International Championship, that is the best title for Ricky Starks. The TNT title needs to stay on Hobbs for the foreseeable future. That title needs to stay on Hobbs for the foreseeable future. As far as Ricky Starks goes, he's not winning the TNT title. He's not winning the world title. The best title for him is the AEW International Championship. I don't understand why we need to beat around the bush here, but if you're asking me, I would get that title on him ASAP because he is hot. He could use that championship, and he would really, really benefit from winning the All-Atlantic Championship, and the All-Atlantic title itself would look great on Ricky Starks. The All-Atlantic title or the International Championship would really benefit from being on a guy that's as hot as Ricky Starks. So that's what I would do. But could this result in the Bullet Club, Hikuleo and Kenta? Maybe we get Kenta. Maybe Kenta comes on in. Kenta recently just beat Fred Rosser at Battle in the Valley for the, I think it was the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. And he had a very good match with Fred Rosser. So if Kenta comes in, we get Kenta versus Ricky Starks. That's actually pretty interesting too. Renee Paquette she interviewed Ruby Soho before her matchup against Sky Blue, and Ruby Soho, she cut a very good promo, so much so she was actually getting shut the fuck up chants. So, Ruby Soho said, "Why? I think it's obvious that you all created this monster. My first title match was at Grand Slam, and Britt Baker beat me. These people were thrilled. Then I beat Chris Statlander. Remember the response that I got? They booed me out of the damn building. Then we get to Revolution, where everyone's favorite homegrown woman, Jamie Hayter, pinned me, and nobody came to my defense. No one was going to come from my defense, and no one showed my friends respect either. Nobody showed Tony the respect because people in this company called her an interim champion. Then everyone begged Saraya to come out of retirement, and you all came after her at a moment's notice. This broken foundation was built under the tutelage of entitled little shits in the back, and we have to help rebuild this women's division. Speaking of entitled rookies, why don't we bring out my opponent in Sky Blue?" The crowd was actually chanting "shut the fuck up" to Ruby at some point, and that is probably one of the best things that you could have chanted to you if you are a heel. This was a very good promo, and Ruby really brings some life into this feud. And based on what happened on Rampage, it looks like we could have ourselves a third woman to join Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, and it's going to be the first ever AEW Women's World Champion in Riho, which I don't mind at all. So this was a pretty basic match between Ruby Soho and Sky Blue. Sky Blue is doing very good for herself, I will say. Ruby won with Destination Unknown, and she actually won clean. Ruby won clean. What a concept. What a concept. A heel winning matches clean. We need to see more of that. So all of a sudden, Willow Nightingale came out, and she tried to talk some sense into Ruby. Ruby said, "Fuck this." And Storm and Saraya attacked her. We had no future on Willow, and then they spray painted the L on Willow and Sky Blue. So Willow Nightingale, if she is a fourth member, I definitely wouldn't mind that. I would love to see a Willow Nightingale Ruby Soho match. Adam Page. He had a very good interview with Renee Paquette, and he said that he was finished with Jon Moxley. Although based on what happened, I'm not sure that Jon Moxley is finished with Adam Page. But if you're asking me, the one thing that I would do is I would absolutely do Hangman Adam Page versus MJF for the AEW World Championship at Double or Nothing. Although, with MJF doing his rebar mitzvah and Jungle Boy coming out and saying that he is looking to take anyone's singles championships, I don't know about you guys, but maybe we will see Jungle Boy inevitably face MJF at Double or Nothing. And you know what? I wouldn't mind that either, because if you guys remember, they had a match on the undercard at Double or Nothing 2020 during the pandemic. That was during the pandemic. So we actually had a very good match there. That was probably one of the best matches on Double or Nothing 2022's card. So if you're asking me, I would not mind seeing either Page or Jungle Boy fight MJF. I think either of those two would be very suitable opponents for MJF at Double or Nothing. And I think Jungle Boy and MJF could put on one of the best matches of the year if they give him the opportunity to. Tony Schiavone. He interviewed FTR. FTR came out to a very nice ovation. The crowd was chanting FTR, FTR. Cash, he talked about a bad few months of 2023, losing to the Guns, losing to the Acclaimed, losing 3 sets of tag team titles, and losing Jay Briscoe. He called the Guns entitled little assholes, and he promised to teach them everything that Daddy should have taught them. Dax then went on about his love for the fans. Crowd was chanting FTR again. We closed the book on the greatest trilogy of matches ever, and even though we didn't win, it was still a feeling that I was proud of, and that feeling was taken away by the Guns. It could be easy to beat your ass, but we need to finally become the AEW World Tag Team Champions, and we will indeed beat you to do it. Top guys out. Very good stuff as always, and I can absolutely see that being the tag team title match for Double or Nothing 2023. FTR will be your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. AR Fox and Top Flight versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Fun little match right here. Nothing too over the top, nothing too crazy. But AR Fox and Top Flight, they are doing some decent stuff for themselves. And one thing I would love to see is I would actually love to see Top Flight and AR Fox versus the House of Black for the Trios Championships at some point. That would be a phenomenal fucking match. But speaking of the House of Black and speaking of the Trios Championships, we actually had the Jericho Appreciation Society calling out the House of Black. They want a shot at the Trios Championships. So instead of the House of Black coming out, it was actually the Elite that came out. And the Elite said, well, listen, if we're talking about the number one contenders, I think that we should be the number one contenders. So the Elite then gave the mic to Don Callis and said, you know, Jericho, you're just the second best wrestler from Winnipeg. And you know what? If I was to train, you'd be the third. I thought that was a very nice one-liner from Don Callis. So after that, the House of Black then came into the fray, and they said, if you want these, come and take it. You are all equally deeming for humiliation. And we get ourselves a triple threat trios match next week, and it is going to be one hell of a fucking match. I think that it is possibly going to be one of the best matches of the year if they want it to be. And if the House of Black are going to start off their tag team title reign or their trios titles reign by getting a victory over both of the Elite and the JAS, I don't have an issue with that at all. Daniel Bryan then cut a promo after his Iron Man match, and he said that Max was right. He was putting wrestling before his family, and he said, maybe it's time to go home. I don't know what that means, but I have a theory of what it's going to mean when we get to our next match, which was Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus the Dark Order. And my God, is the Dark Order fucking good. Silver and Reynolds, they're fucking phenomenal as a tag team. I did not see anything in them, but they are one hell of a fucking tag team, especially John Silver. When John Silver gets rolling, he is fucking unbelievably good. So this ended up with a cravat gator roll hold, and Reynolds ended up tapping out, but Moxley kept the hold in. Silver broke it up, and the Blackpool Combat Club actually laid out the Dark Order. Evil Uno came out, Adam Page even came out, Page punched Claudio, and they actually attacked Adam Page. And you know what? I absolutely love the fact that we're going to get a Blackpool Combat Club heel turn. I think that is a phenomenal move for them. It's a phenomenal move for the landscape of AEW, and it is abso-fucking-lutely going to be a refresher. It is absolutely a refresher. It's going to create a great dynamic, and if you ask me, based on what happened with Bryan, I actually do believe that Bryan's going to come back, and he's going to be distraught at what he's seen from the Blackpool Combat Club, and we could potentially see Bryan and Moxley go into a program again. Maybe we get a Bryan versus Yuta match, a Bryan versus Claudio match. I do not mind this at all. I think that this is a fantastic strategy. Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs. This was a Falls Count Anywhere match for the TNT Championship, and Wardlow apparently had his car broken into, but we later found out that it was not a legit break-in at all. It was not a legit break-in. It was merely QT Marshall, because QT Marshall came in to help Powerhouse Hobbs win the TNT Championship. Now, they actually started the brawl in the back. They were brawling on top of cars and tossing wooden pallets at each other and steel chairs. So, in the ring, Hobbs with a spine buster, Wardlow got back up. Wardlow with a spine buster, Hobbs got back up. We had a lariat by Wardlow and an F5 for a 2 count. We had 2 more spine busters, but Wardlow kicked out. This was a great move right here. This is probably the best spot of the entire match. Wardlow set up a table. He set up a table, he put Hobbs on it, and he did probably one of the most beautiful swanton bombs I've ever seen. A beautiful swanton bomb from the ring to the outside. Hobbs and Wardlow crashed through the table. Wardlow pinned for a 2 count. They brawled up by the announce desk. All of a sudden, QT Marshall came in, hit Wardlow with a chair. He was wearing a shirt that said QTV. He then shouted to Hobbs, "It's your time. It's your time." They then powerbombed Wardlow off the stage, and they counted, the ref counted, that is, 2-10, and Powerhouse Hobbs is the new TNT champion. And listen, first things first, I want to get it out of the way. I am more than happy for Hobbs. Matter of fact, this is long overdue for Hobbs, and I do believe that Powerhouse Hobbs is going to do that title good. But I don't even understand why you even bothered giving it to Wardlow. The TNT Championship has been passed around like a hot potato ever since Wardlow lost it at Full Gear. Wardlow should have never lost the TNT Championship at Full Gear. Wardlow should have won. We should have gotten Wardlow versus Samoa Joe at Final Battle for both the Ring of Honor and the TNT Championship. And we should have gotten Wardlow walking out of Ring of Honor Final Battle with both sets of championships. And Wardlow should have gone into 2023 with both sets of championships. Then Hobbs could have still won the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Hobbs could have still beaten Wardlow, and Wardlow would have still been left with 1 championship. And he could have been the guy going into Ring of Honor and defending the Ring of Honor World Television Championship on Ring of Honor TV. Why exactly did we need to take the title off of Wardlow, put it on Joe, put it on Darby, put it back on Joe, put it on Wardlow, only to end up putting it on Hobbs? Wardlow has been absolutely fucking destroyed by shit creative. Wardlow, ever since Wardlow lost that TNT Championship, he has not felt the same. Wardlow should have not lost that TNT Championship. Wardlow should have held that title going into this year, and then he could have dropped it to Hobbs. That way, by the time he dropped it to Hobbs, he would have already held it for a solid 230, 240, 250 days as TNT champion, and it would have been completely fucking fine for Wardlow to drop the title to Powerhouse Hobbs. Now it's on Hobbs. Is Hobbs going to lose it within a month? Is Hobbs really going to lose it within a month? You're really going to have Hobbs lose it back to Wardlow. Hobbs should not be losing that TNT championship until fall. I don't want to hear any fucking story. I don't want to hear any fucking peep out of anyone about Powerhouse Hobbs losing that shit. We need a champion that is going to be a solid, long-term champion. Why is it that every single champion right now is on a hot streak with the championships, holding it for a long time? You got MJF holding the world title over 100 days. Jamie Hayter holding the women's title over 100 days. Jade Cargill's the longest reigning champion in AEW right now. You got Orange Cassidy with the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. Most of their champions are holding the championships for a solid amount of time. Why isn't the TNT Championship being treated like the most important thing behind the World Championship? Powerhouse Hobbs should have never been in a position where he was going to beat Wardlow 3 days after Wardlow won the TNT Championship. And if we're going to be quite honest with you, Wardlow should have never lost the title. Now it's on Hobbs. You better keep that fucking title on Hobbs. I don't know what the fuck Tony Khan is doing, but Tony Khan really needs to shape up when it comes to the TNT Championship. He really does. Tony Khan really needs to shape up when it comes to the TNT Championship, and we cannot have Powerhouse Hobbs losing that championship at all until we get to the fall. I don't want to hear him losing about the title until at least Grand Slam at the end of September. I don't want to fucking hear it. SmackDown. We got a pretty decent show for SmackDown. We did get some very good wrestling. We got a couple of WrestleMania build. And we got a couple of very good segments as well. We started off the show with Drew McIntyre carrying Cross, Sheamus, LA Knight, and Xavier Woods. Fatal 5-way #1 contenders match to see who was going to face Gunther. So this was absolutely all-out chaos. Absolute all-out chaos. And it ended with Drew and Sheamus both getting their finishers and pinning their respective opponents at the same time. And I actually thought that this was a very good usage of the Fatal 5-way, a very good usage of both referees. And I thought that now that we have a match next week between Drew and Sheamus, I actually think that we could end up getting Drew and Sheamus going to a time limit draw. Not a time limit draw, a count out draw. Maybe we see a double pin of some sorts. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but either way, Drew and Sheamus, it is all but confirmed that we're going to get Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther at WrestleMania, and that is going to be one hell of a match. No matter how you look at it, it is going to be one hell of a match. It's going to make the Intercontinental title feel prestigious, and I do believe we will see a new Intercontinental champion in Sheamus. We had the first inductee to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023, and it was Rey Mysterio, and that is absolutely deserved. So Rey actually came out to address the crowd. All of this before the Judgment Day came out, and Dom, his son, was running him down. Dom goes, "How pathetic." Crowd rained down boos on him, and my God, do I love the heat that Dominic Mysterio was getting. So he goes, "How many moments have you missed to make this Hall of Fame career? Rey is a washed up old man. I am ashamed to be your son." So Legado del Fantasma then came out. Santos took the mic. He goes, "Your father may have forgiven you for what you did, but I didn't. Let's have our match right now." And we get Legado del Fantasma versus the Judgment Day. And this was a very fun little match. We had Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro mixing it up with the Judgment Day. I think that they are a fantastic tag team. Escobar took it to Balor. Cruz with a Spanish fly on Dominic. Priest then saved it. We had double suicide dives by Legado del Fantasma. Zelina Vega, she tried for a Hurricane Rana on Rhea Ripley, and we ended up seeing Rhea Ripley powerbombing Zelina into Legado del Fantasma, which I thought was great. We had Damian Priest with a super kick on Cruz del Toro, and Dominic rolled up Cruz del Toro for the win. So after Dominic stole the match, which I actually think is a great move, because Dominic's the one that's getting all the pins here, Dominic then asked the Judgment Day to leave the ring because he wanted a one-on-one conversation with his dad. Dom said that Rey deserves to be in the Deadbeat Dad Hall of Fame. At the end of the day, I should have been Eddie's son. Dom then facepalmed Rey. Rey then ducked an attack from Dom, and Dom went sailing out of the ring, and the Judgment Day held Dom back as Rey was distraught. And it's pretty much all but confirmed that the WrestleMania match is coming. And one thing is for sure, when Rey Mysterio inevitably punches Dominic, when Rey punches Dominic, I'm telling you, the crowd is going to fucking pop big time. The crowd will indeed pop big time. Just you wait. So from there, we go into a match with Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders. And this was another decent little match. Really nothing too crazy here. Ricochet and Braun Strowman, they've actually made a very fun little tag team. So Braun Strowman actually beeled Ricochet over the top rope onto the Viking Raiders. That was a very nice spot. Coming back from commercial, Ricochet caught a sliding knee. Ivar then squished Strowman against the barricade. You had a Hurricane Rana by Ricochet for a 2. Sit-out powerbomb for a 2 by Eric. You had a springboard moonsault by Ricochet. Tagged to Braun Strowman. He lit up Ivar. Nice drop kick connects Strowman. Then with the Strowman Express to Ivar. And then he went for Eric, but he missed. And he went sailing over the announce table. Suicide dive by Eric. On Eric by Ricochet. Then Ricochet was at the mercy of Ivar. Eric and Braun Strowman were taken out. Ivar with a beautiful spin kick on Ricochet. He sold the shit out of it. And then Ricochet caught a huge diving splash by Ivar. And Ivar pinned Ricochet to get the win. So the Viking Raiders with a much-needed win. And the Viking Raiders beat Braun Strowman and Ricochet in what was a decent little match. Charlotte Flair. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Charlotte Flair. You know, I was enjoying my little vacation from Charlotte Flair. I was enjoying the fact that Charlotte Flair was not on TV for an extended period of time, but apparently she is back. So it looks like we're going to have to reveal that code once again. Everybody knows that the code here on the DJ Storms channel is fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters, because they're all a bunch of fucking morons. So Charlotte Flair, she had a match with Shotzi. Who cares? I didn't give a shit. Didn't care. I don't understand why anyone would care. Charlotte Flair sucks. Rhea Ripley came into the ring after Charlotte tapped out Shotzi with the figure 8. And Shotzi was completely rendered irrelevant. Rhea came in, took the mic, and she said to Charlotte, "Watching you reminded me of why I chose you. And when I look into your eyes, I see all of your insecurities. And I will take the one thing that makes you feel so important when I become the SmackDown Women's Champion." Charlotte says, "I improve every day." I improve every day. No, you don't. No, you don't. You've actually regressed. You've actually gotten worse than what you were. I'm looking at Charlotte Flair from 2015 and 2016. You're actually worse than where you were. Not even bullshitting you. Even 2018 Charlotte was very good. This Charlotte is lazy as shit. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 Charlotte was very good. After that, 2019, 2020, 2021, I could completely do without that Charlotte. She goes, "I take this business very seriously." Yes, you take the business of burying every other woman and stealing all of their opportunities. Very, very important. Oh, I know. She goes, "You can rip anyone apart except for me." I'm going to continue to pitch this. I honestly hope to God that Rhea Ripley fucking squashes Charlotte Flair. I honestly do. I honestly hope to God that Rhea Ripley fucking squashes Charlotte Flair. I really do. Usos came out to address the WWE Universe, and the crowd was chanting for Sammy. Jay then said, "Put yourself in my shoes. What would you do? What would you do? Why did you betray Sammy? One of your family members' car break down, they need groceries, what do? I did it because I had to. I didn't want to." Now that is actually a very telling statement. I had to. I did not want to. Now some people were saying that Jey Uso only did it to save Jimmy. He didn't do it simply because of the fact that he's aligned with the bloodline. He only did it because he had to, and he only did it to save his brother. Is Jey Uso potentially orchestrating a walkout of Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso on Roman Reigns? Is Roman Reigns legitimately going to be without the bloodline after WrestleMania? Are we potentially looking at a revisitation of the Jey Uso Roman Reigns storyline after WrestleMania is over? Is Cody going to win the world championship and Roman going to feud with Jey Uso? I don't know. I wouldn't mind it. I think that would be a great move. I wouldn't mind it. I think that would be a phenomenal fucking move. I think Jey Uso would be probably one of the most over individuals in the entire fucking company if that's the case. Walking out on Roman Reigns. That would be awesome. So he goes, I didn't want to do it, but I did it because he's my blood. He's my family. Not you, and neither are any of you. There is one person I blame, and that is you, Sami Zayn. What was I supposed to do? You're selfish. All you had to do was fall in line. Your ass ain't blood, and you never will be. One last problem to get rid of is the Cody Rhodes problem. Cody then came out. He goes, why don't you talk directly to my face? I don't answer to Roman. I answer to them, and they'd rather see us fight. Cody took his jacket off. Sami came out of nowhere. He attacked Jey. Rhodes went after Jimmy, and we got a big brawl with Cody and Sami standing tall in the end. This is all leading towards a Cody, Sami, Owens versus Solo and the Usos six-man tag before we inevitably get to WrestleMania, which I don't mind at all. But SmackDown was not a bad show. We did get some decent material. We did get some decent wrestling and some WrestleMania build, that's for sure. Rampage was a pretty decent show as well. We got some decent wrestling on the show, and we did get the revelation of what we are going to do about the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, considering that Jay Briscoe unfortunately passed away. Rest in peace to the late, great Jay Briscoe. So Sammy Guevara and Action Andretti, they kicked off the show, and this match went about 13 minutes, and they put on a great match to kick off Rampage. Was it better than the first? I would say it was close, but if they went a little longer, I would say yes. But this was a very good match. Andretti is very good, having only been in the business for 3 years. So we had a big plancha over the top by Andretti. Nice shotgun drop kick and a split-legged moonsault. Andretti has a very nice amount of intensity, I gotta say. Andretti has a very nice amount of intensity. So Andretti was caught with a huge knee by Sammy. Coming back from commercial, we had a double crossbody by both men. They traded strikes. Andretti mounted a comeback with a nice hanging neck breaker. Arabian moonsault on Sammy. Springboard 450 splash for a 2. A beautiful Spanish fly for a 2 count. Shooting star press, but Guevara got the knees up. Backflip DDT by Sammy. Guevara then put Andretti on the table, and Andretti broke free. Andretti put Guevara on the table, and Andretti, with a beautiful flying splash through the air, taking out Sammy Guevara, which looked very, very nice. Behind the referee's back, Daniel Garcia shoved Andretti off the top. Guevara hit the go to hell, the GTH, and Guevara wins a great match against Action Andretti. And it looks like, to me, if you're asking me who I want to see potentially compete for the AEW International Championship, I think that Sammy Guevara and Orange Cassidy would put on a banger of a match for the AEW All Atlantic, or now the International Championship. I don't think we've seen a proper Sammy Guevara, Orange Cassidy match yet. I don't think we've seen that. I think we've seen him in a Battle Royal. We've seen him in a Battle Royal before, but I don't think we've actually seen Sammy Guevara versus Orange Cassidy one-on-one. I think that would be a fantastic match. Hell, if you want to give Sammy the championship, I would be a little bit open to that too. I want to see Sammy and Orange Cassidy. I think that would be a great match for the AEW International Championship. The Acclaimed took on a couple of bums. The Acclaimed won pretty quickly with the mic drop and the arrival pretty quickly. And 2.0 then came out. It looks like we could be getting a tag team match very soon between the Acclaimed and 2.0, which I don't mind. I think that the Acclaimed could use a little undercard exposure. One thing that I would definitely love to see is the Acclaimed get one more shot at the Guns before we inevitably get the Guns versus FTR. Preston Vance. Preston Vance, he took on Konosuke Takeshita. Preston Vance took on Konosuke Takeshita, and this was pretty decent stuff right here. Nothing over the top, but these two did very well for themselves. So Takeshita, with a very nice flying lariat, and then a plancha over the top, taking him out. We had a punt kick by Vance, and a German suplex by Takeshita. Double discus elbows by both men, and both men are down. Preston Vance actually looked pretty decent here. We had a flying knee off the middle rope, and a blue thunder bomb for a 2. Punt knee, but Jose, the assistant, put Preston Vance's boot on the rope. Takeshita then took him out. Preston Vance with a very nice discus lariat on Konosuke Takeshita, and he kicked out. We had a full Nelson. Takeshita then with a spinning backslide. It was like up and over, inside out, into the backslide, and Takeshita rolled up Preston Vance to get the 1, 2, 3. Pretty decent stuff right here. And you know what? If we're looking at a potential match with Takeshita and Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT champion, I think that would be a fantastic match. If you want to give me Powerhouse Hobbs versus Konosuke Takeshita for the TNT championship, I'm all for that. Sign me the fuck up. Sign me up. I'm all for it. Mark Briscoe, he came out and he talked about what's going on with the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, and he announced that he will be relinquishing the titles. And on March 31st at Supercard of Honor live at 4 p.m., we will be getting a Reach for the Sky ladder match to crown new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, and the first team announced for it is the Lucha Brothers. And you know for a fact that with the Lucha Brothers being involved in a ladder match, some crazy shit is going to go down. Some crazy shit is going to go down, and I am all here for it. Matter of fact, I would not mind the Lucha Brothers being a staple in Ring of Honor for a while. And they could still do AEW television. They could absolutely still do AEW television, but I would not mind the Lucha Brothers going to Ring of Honor and facing some of the tag teams down there. We could see the Lucha Brothers versus the Varsity Athletes. We could see the Lucha Brothers versus the Kingdom. The Lucha Brothers versus a Top Flight. Lucha Brothers versus anyone, really. Anyone. Top Flight, the Kingdom, Aussie Open. If Aussie Open's going to be down there, I mean, I would love to see Aussie Open in the Reach for the Sky ladder match. Aussie Open actually just put on a great tag team match with Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus on Ring of Honor television. That was a great match. Great tag team match. So if anything, I want to see more of Aussie Open. Give me more of them. Give me more of them. But a Reach for the Sky ladder match, I think that is a great move. If you're asking me, I would do the Lucha Brothers. I would do Rush and Dralistico. I would do the Kingdom, and I would do Top Flight. Those would be my top 4 tag teams that I would put in there. Main event. Main event was Nyla Rose versus Riho. This was good. This was good, but not as good as their second match. Their second match, to me, was still the best one. I like the fact that they did a little crash course history refresher on Nyla Rose and Riho, but this was not a bad match. This was not terrible, but ultimately it wasn't anything groundbreaking. So Nyla caught Riho coming off the top. Riho sent Nyla Rose leg first into the steps. By the way, Nyla Rose is actually going to be at ISPW tonight. Nyla Rose is actually going to be at ISPW tonight in Westwood, New Jersey. So maybe I'll stop by and see Nyla Rose. Maybe I'll stop by and see Nyla Rose. Who the fuck knows? Maybe I'll stop by and see her. Maybe I'll stop by and see her. So we had a diving crossbody for a 2. Nice stalling suplex by Nyla. Coming back from commercial, head scissors by Riho. Riho then with a diving Hurricane Rana off the middle rope. Jumping knee connects and a double foot stomp for a 2. Nyla with a nice power slam. That got a 2 count. Riho was then draped over the rope. Nyla with a guillotine leg drop across the knee. Guillotine knee drop for a 2. right across Riho's neck, which looked brutal. Nyla then missed the Swanton bomb. Riho with a crucifix bomb. Nyla got pulled up by Riho for a 2, rolled up, trapped the legs, trapped the arms, and Riho gets her second win over Nyla Rose. She wins the match, wins the rubber match, and Riho to me looks like she could either be the third woman because Ruby Soho and the Outcasts actually came out and Riho got spray painted, or we could potentially see Riho in a Women's World Championship match against Jamie Hayter, and I would not mind either of those. I think that a match with Jamie Hayter first to get Jamie Hayter another title defense, and then if you want to have Riho join with the AEW Originals, I think that would be a great move. So it looks like we are starting to get the Women's Blood and Guts match really start to take shape here. But all in all, Rampage was not a bad show whatsoever. We've been getting some decent wrestling. We got some build. Oh, by the way, speaking of build, Swerve, I cannot leave out Swerve. Swerve cut a phenomenal promo, and he says he hasn't thrown every bullet that he's had at Keith Lee. I have one, and you won't see it coming, and I promise you, excuse me. I know why. I just got a little tickle there for a minute. Swerve said, I'm about to turn into a cannibal because everything I see is food. I actually like that line from Swerve Strickland. So shout out to Swerve for cutting some damn good promos. But either way, Rampage, not a bad show whatsoever. We got some solid wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. You guys are fantastic. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for tuning into the stream. As per usual, thank you to Danielle Wolf, Hulagrim, Dee Dee, The Shooter, Dylan. You guys are all phenomenal. Yet another successful Lightning Flash update here on the channel. And we are certainly getting into the nitty and gritty going into WrestleMania season. I will be at ISPW Live tonight in Westwood, so I hope you guys are indeed there. I hope you guys are getting set and ready for one hell of a WrestleMania week. I will be live 6 times for multiple, and I mean multiple streams regarding Ring of Honor, NXT, and WrestleMania. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check out all the links in the description. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. But before we get out of here, there is a very, very important question that everybody must answer, and that is, who runs the IWC? I don't know. You guys got to tell me who runs the IWC. I got to know who runs the IWC. I will tell you who runs the IWC. That would be who but DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you dare forget it.